I would argue that in the situation the Bears are in, while Stephon Diggs is a more explosive receiver than Keenan Allen, for me, is probably a better fit inside that offensive huddle for a rookie quarterback than Stephon Diggs is.
I'd rather, for the Bears' sake, have Keenan Allen than I would Stephon Diggs for the situation that they're in. Absolutely.
Yeah. If you had somebody that was more established at the quarterback position or had played for a while, the conversation may be different. But when you got a rookie quarterback, I like the mix, both, how they play and how they approach their business inside that huddle.
I mean, how old is Stephon Diggs? Is how old? 30? Yeah. So he's 30. And Keenan Allen's 32.
He's 30, want to be 32 during the season.
So, I mean,
they're not that far apart.
They're not that far apart. And wouldn't you say that they're equally productive?
They're different players, but yeah, I mean, they were both in situations where they were being targeted a ton and both delivered. I'm totally fine with the Bears having Keenan Allen instead of Stephon Diggs. Totally good with it. Totally good with it. I think for the fit, it works better for me.
Yeah, we know the one thing that we know in this equation is we know that C.J. Stroud is already a star, or at least on the brink of being a star.
We know
he's already really good.
Yeah,
he's already, whether how you want to, loosely you want to use that term.
Yeah.
He's already very good. He's already a star, whatever you want to say. We don't know how good Caleb Williams is going to be.
The only thing I would say this, I'm with Meller. I think you can make a really good case that the infrastructure is every bit as good, if not better, for Caleb Williams than C.J. Stroud. They're better at left tackle. They're probably better at center, and they're probably better at running back in Houston. I mean, I'll take Joe Mixon over DeAndre Swift. But outside of that, I think that the mix that the Bears are going to throw out there is every bit as good. Yeah, look, Nico Collins has had a couple of really good years. He was 1,300 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns. I'll take DJ Moore over him every day.
The one thing to consider, too, is how both of these guys finished their seasons last year. Keenan Allen's coming off of a career year last year. Stephon Diggs, in his final 13 games last season, this is from Hembo, he was averaging 5.2 catches for less than 50 yards a game and only had 4 20-yard catches over that span. He was not nearly the productive player that we saw. Now, that may change. Maybe he needed the change of scenery. But if you need a change of scenery from Josh Allen,
right,
that kind of puts your antenna up.
Well, those two receivers, Tank Dell and Nico Collins, are good. They're good, young, up-and-coming receivers. They didn't have the star name that a lot of receivers had around the league, but they can play.
Listen, Nico Collins was as productive as, most guys in the league last year. He was probably top 7 in the league in terms of production. Didn't have gaudy touchdown numbers, but he was a 1,300-yard receiver.
So, and then if the Bears do get Rome Odunze at number 9, and they get Odunze, Keenan Allen, along
with DJ Moore.
Yeah,
it's a great environment for a young quarterback to step into.
Too deep at tight end, and then I know what you're saying about DJ Swift versus Mixon, but the Bears also have 2 other, pretty competent running backs behind him.
Yeah, they don't have a group of slouches. No, I would just, if we're given check marks for one side or the other, I would give the Texans a check mark at running back.
Yeah.
But, how important is that in today's game? I'd rather have the check mark at the wide receiver position than the running back position at this point.
It'll be fascinating because you look at Diggs, though, and those stats, I know everybody who plays fantasy football, he's been for the most part, a top 2-round pick, so a lot of people think he's great. But Tyler just gave you the Hembo stats, the fall-off came. And last year, he's one of those guys who strikes you as, can he be happy if the team's winning football games, but he's not getting his?
Well, not in the past, he hasn't been.
Exactly. And so
that's not the track record.
If you're the Texans, even though I know you want to give C.J. Stroud a weapon to work with, you got to be cautious that this could be some turmoil inside the clubhouse.
I got to tell you, though, I like their head coach, and I like what they've got. I have no problem with what they did. I think this was an excellent move on their behalf. What are they having for? He's on the books for next year as well, I think, isn't it?
I think he's got 2
this
years,
year and another left.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame them.
He's going to want a renegotiated contract.
That's fine. And guess what? I think they've got enough stability there that if it goes sideways, they can move on. I wouldn't be worried if I was a Texans fan that he's going to come in and upset the apple cart. But by the same token, I'm much happier with what the Bears did. I'm happier with Keenan Allen versus had this guy been the guy they traded for.
If you would have asked me on a show like in the last week or 2 weeks or at the start of free agency, Sylvie, do you want Stephon Diggs on the Bears? I would have said no. I would have said if for the same draft compensation or at all. Remember, I don't know if you remember the conversations we used to have about DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
This was with Justin Fields. I said, I don't want DeAndre Hopkins around the team. He's not known to practice hard. I want DJ Moore establishing a chemistry with Justin Fields. I don't want him to upset what they're trying to build. And I would say the same thing with Stephon Diggs. There are some guys who I just don't want inside the locker room. So, like, maybe the Texans are more established and they can afford it. They're already, what, a 10-win team? What were they, 10 or 11?
It was 10 or 11.
So, like, maybe they're really good. That coaching staff already has established in 1 year. Like, they've got an offensive coordinator who's already a hot coaching candidate. Yeah. Their head coach is already a guy who has set that culture, much different sort of than what the Bears are dealing with.
It's a different
here.
environment. They were 10-7 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm fine, totally. I don't look at what happened and go, oh, my God, the Bears, you know what? I wish they would have traded for Stephon Diggs. No, I thought they got the perfect guy for their situation. Keenan Allen is a guy that's going to be where he needs to be every single play. He's going to be stable and he's going to be productive, which is going to be immensely important for a young quarterback trying to make the jump from the collegiate game to the NFL. He's a huge asset on the field and in the huddle. And again, I think that the character of those two guys, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, I'm not going to overvalue it, but I'm not going to undersell it either. Like, you still have to be able to play, but this is a bonus that you get two true professionals to be your top receivers as a rookie quarterback.
So the Bears play the Texans twice. They play them in that Hall of Fame game. That was just announced a week ago. We knew the Bears would play in that Hall of Fame game. We've known that for weeks. We'll see how much the Bears play. I would assume the rookie quarterback would get some snaps.
I hope so.
I don't know how much the Texans would play, but the Bears and Texans are also slated to play in Houston during the regular season. You know, I would speculate that this is going to be a nationally televised game between a young quarterback and C.J. Stroud and the Bears rookie quarterback, and between two teams who are now, on the up and coming side of things in the NFL.
It's a sexy matchup.
Sexy
matchup.
312-332-3776. Who has set up the better infrastructure? The Texans, as far as the skill guys, because we know C.J. Stroud is established. I'm not saying Caleb Williams or C.J. Stroud. That's already overwhelming. You got to go with C.J. Stroud. You don't know what Caleb Williams is going to be. We're talking about skill guy for skill guy, and considering the Bears could take Rome Odunze, hopefully, if he's there, at 9. And then they have Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and Cole Kmet.
Gerald Everett.
And Gerald Everett. And they've got DeAndre Swift, and they still have two other guys who are pretty good at running back.